Does this sound familiar? You wake up, you feel tired. You go and make breakfast, you're still tired. You go to work, you're also tired. You go home, you're still very tired. You go to bed, and the cycle repeats all over again the next day. Do you see the common theme here? One of the main reasons you feel like every single day is because of your sleep. Your sleep is the most important thing you can do for yourself. Your sleep actually impacts everything. It impacts your testosterone, it impacts your mood, it impacts your brain function. Literally any bodily function you could think of, it probably impacts. So then with that in mind, it would be stupid not to want to improve your sleep and not to make it the most optimal that it can be. A lot of improving sleep is actually more than sleeping. It's what you do outside of sleeping that actually impacts your sleep. I went from taking up to 3 hours every single night in my bed rolling around to not even taking any supplements and taking maybe 10 minutes every single night. I'll show you how I do it. Work is by far the most important thing you can do for yourself when it comes to sleeping. Your body physically knows when you don't deserve to sleep. It knows. And what I mean by work is physical work. So like working out, exercising, mental work, like studying, reading, learning, just any kind of work. Now, don't get me wrong. You could be quote unquote working, but the work you do isn't purposeful and therefore your brain doesn't perceive it as work. It perceives it as like a nuisance. So basically what I'm saying is you have to earn the sleep that you get. Well, firstly, to do that, you have to figure out how to optimize the amount of work you're doing. So you have to figure out how to maximize the amount of work you're doing. So say you have school from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and you notice that your deepest work happens between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Okay, well, that's no problem. So what you want to do is you want to basically structure your sleep schedule around those very important times. So if you know you're going to get a lot of work done from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. and that you have to be awake by 8 a.m., all other time you have should be spent asleep. Well, me personally, I don't like to stay up that late. I like to get my work done very early in the morning so that I don't have to do it later in the day. And actually, this is supported by a lot of religious texts, like in the Bible and in the Quran. Trust me, if you do choose to put your deep work schedule earlier in the morning, you will see a lot of benefit from that. The other thing is exercise. Exercise is the physical aspect of the work that you're doing. Exercise is another very important aspect of sleep. So when you go to the gym and exercise, make sure you're exerting yourself as much as you can. So me, for example, when I go lift weights at the gym, I physically drench my shirt in sweat every single time, even though I'm not doing cardio, but that's because I'm exerting myself. It doesn't matter what exercise you're doing or what protocol, just make sure you're going 100% every single time. So this will make your body think that you're doing something very hard, and it'll make sure that you sleep enough so that you can recover, so that in the future you're able to do the same task again. Now, the third thing you want to really pay attention to is your diet and the time you sleep. So I don't want to be the bad guy and tell you that you should stop eating bad food, but if you haven't stopped already, then you know what the next steps are. Ensure that you aren't eating before bedtime and that your last meal, no snacking, no anything, your last meal is at least 3 hours before the time that you sleep. So this just makes sure that you're not actively digesting food while you're trying to sleep, which can cause a lot of problems when you're actually in bed and you're trying to fall asleep. You want to build up a sleep schedule, and this is for your circadian rhythm. Don't just set a sleeping time. That's not sustainable. Set a time that you have to start getting ready to go to sleep at. So say, for example, you sleep at 7 p.m. You want to have an alarm or an alert on your phone at 6:30 alerting you that you should start getting ready for sleep. And what I mean by start getting ready for sleep is maybe just go brush your teeth or make your bed or do whatever sleep routine that you have already at that time. And it doesn't have to be a 30-minute block before you sleep. Just make sure it's enough time so that at 7 p.m. you're physically in your bed and you're ready to sleep. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The first night that you try to do this, you'll probably get very bad sleep. And it did take me 2 or 3 days to actually get adjusted to a whole different sleep schedule. But by the first week, you should be able to have your sleep schedule set, and you should be okay in terms of when you sleep. So now that we've talked about work, exercise, your diet, and the time that you sleep, what should you do when you're actually in bed? Well, this is pretty important as well. So make sure you're going to sleep in a cold and dark and quiet environment. Now, I know for a lot of you, this won't be the case. It might not be that dark because there's still lights in the house or something like that, what you want to do is you want to buy blackout curtains. You want to buy door covers. You want to buy something that physically eliminates light. Or if you want to, you can get some sleep masks. They're basically like things that you put over your eye that just blocks out light. Those are really good too. But make sure you're also getting blackout curtains because some light does seep through. You should also, if you're not in control of like the air conditioning or whatever, you should also purchase a fan. These are like pretty cheap things that you can do to increase your sleep by at least 25%. So get yourself a good fan. Purchase some earplugs. So the earplugs that I use are these silicone earplugs that you could just put in your ear and it molds to the shape of your ear. It's pretty good for blocking out noise. Coupled with the sound of the fan, it kind of just blocks all noise. So even if someone's yelling in your house, you won't really notice because of how many things are just actively eliminating that noise. So make sure you also have your sleep triggers there. So a lot of people do have these things called sleep triggers. So these are basically things that if people see or feel or hear, they just instantly get sleepy. That's fine. I've just never had something that worked for me personally. So I'll just give you some of the things I tend to use. Breathing. So breathing is a very important tool. Once you really know, it's very hard not to use it. So there's this breathing technique I recently learned. This is actually a very interesting breathing technique. This breathing technique was actually noticed on like dogs before they fell asleep. Basically, what they did is they inhaled 2 times. So what they did is they inhaled, paused, inhaled again, and then exhaled. So it should look something like this. And what this does, if you want to try this, what this does is it just gets rid of a lot of like anxiousness and a lot of emotions, and it just makes you more calm. It decreases your heart rate. So you want to do this for maybe like 5 minutes or until you feel like at ease and calm. You want to kind of relax your jaw as well. Ensure that you're comfortable and, make sure that you're not thinking of anything that, may bother you. So say recently you encountered someone who wasn't nice to you. You kind of just want to like imagine like a cloud. So you kind of just want to imagine like a cloud with all those bad things or all those things that you're thinking about, and it's just drifting away into the horizon. And that way you won't be distracted by all of these like meaningless thoughts, and your brain will be kind of clear and ready to sleep. What people in the military also do is they just say don't think to themselves in their brain. So they just say don't think, don't think, don't think, and they're just imagining like a black screen. Personally, this hasn't worked for me, but you could try it out and maybe it works for you. And then the last step is to imagine yourself just sinking in your bed. You're at the most comfortable stage of your life. You have nothing to worry about. You're calm, you're at ease, and you're at peace. If you do this on a regular basis, you should be able to sleep very consistently and very deeply. And you'll even notice that, you'll feel ready to conquer the day. And that's a goal ultimately. If you found this video useful, if you did, make sure to leave a like or comment. It really just helps the algorithm help other people who are suffering with the same things you are. And other than that, take care.